Today we're going to talk a little bit about 1099 electronic filing. So we're going to start with the documents, or where to find the documents to get the information you need to get a login into the IRIS system, which is what the IRS is using to allow uploads of these files for the coming year, for the 2023 season. So first of all, the document is at the bottom of the W-2 and 1099 menu. It's called W-2 1099 instructions. When you open that document, there's lots of information. If you do a search for electronic filing, it describes both W-2s and 1099s. Most of the process of what you normally do to produce 1099s is the same. There is some setup information that happens at the beginning, but it all starts with getting the right code to be able to upload these files to the IRS. So you need to start with opening the document and then getting to the filing your 1099s and 1096s electronically. And the 1099s and 1096s are one file per client. So it would start by downloading the PDF that's in this document. This is directly from the IRS. It has lots of information about what's required for these files. But the important information there is how you get to the site to set up your ID. One of the things that we've seen recently and had some questions on is you have to set up these new ID.me or ID.gov logins that require some personal information. So most people, I think, will use the owner's information of an accounting firm. So have that information handy, or have that person handy when you first set these up, because it does go through some personal setup, and you'll have to figure out how to get that information in if it's not shared, or get them to set up these codes for you. Once they're set up, you should be able to log in and save that information on the computers that are going to be used for the update. So the other thing to know about electronic filing is electronic filing cannot be done for the input or walk-in W-2s and 1099s. So if you've done walk-in 1099s in the past, if they're less than 10, you can probably do what you've always done. If they're more than 10, they're going to have to be electronically filed, so you need to set up vendors and enter transactions, which is one extra step. So if you had information in the input 1099s last year, there is a button on that screen, if your information is still in the list, that will copy those vendors that you used last year into your vendor file, which will give you an extra step ahead. And then you'll just need to enter one transaction with the vendor totals. One other thing to note about this document is it was written for last year, so it's the 2022 document. The 2023 document should be out fairly soon. But the new system at the IRS is called the IRIS system. The last year's was the fire.irs.gov link, so that link will take you somewhere, but it no longer is working for the IRS. So you have to get the new version, which is going to be the IRIS application for transmitter control code. So this is the place to start for that. So I will be publishing a document along with this video that will have all of these links in it as well. So that will be the next step. So when you're in the program, once you get your transmitter control code, in the setup 1099s, there's a tab that says electronic 1099s. Okay, this is in addition to all your normal setup for the company and the 1099 amounts. So I'm not including that here. That's all normal filing. We may do a supplement later to explain from beginning to end for those who haven't done it before. But this is specifically for electronic 1099, so we're going to concentrate on that. So most of these things with the red asterisks are defined in the electronic filing document. If you have a question about what one needs or means, the produce electronic file is a checkbox that you will have to check to make the system produce an electronic file when you go in to do the create and print that creates the 1099s for your vendors. So at that point, you will go ahead and print the vendor copies and send them out to the vendors, and if time allows, wait for them to respond in case there's a problem and you need to make corrections before you electronically file the totals. So the rest of these boxes are mostly self-explanatory. Combined filer, I would not do that at this point. It's a way to combine federal and state filing at the same time. Most states, you only have to file the 1099s to the state if they're state withholding, which is rare. These other fields, the transfer agent and foreign entity, last filing indicator, are all fields that are described in that document. Most of the time they'll be unchecked. So the combined filer state code will be unchecked. The will be not filled in. The company name should come up from the setup company screen. The name control is a 4-digit or character code that should be the first 4 letters of the owner's last name or the first 4 letters of the company name. There's several pages in document 1220 that describes what those 4 characters should be, but it also says they could be left blank. So I don't think that's critical, but that's how it's defined in the document. The payer's EIN, need to make sure there are no dashes, slashes, or spaces in that. If any of that is true, that needs to be changed here. The phone number, same thing, no dashes, slashes, or spaces. The transmitter's EIN would be if you're sending these files, this would be your EIN. That also, no spaces, dashes, or slashes. Your transmitter control code goes in this field. Looks like it's a 5-digit code. The transmitter name would be, of course, your accounting firm. The return to company name would be this company that you're filing for. The return to mailing address, city, state, zip, and that's all that's required on this field. Make sure that in the miscellaneous setup screen, the contact phone and contact name are filled in, because those are used on the 1096, which is a record in your file when you build it electronically. The electronic /2 is really not used, so that's really all that's needed for the electronic setup. The next step after building the setup information into the setup 1099s is to go to the create and print 1099s. This all works exactly the way it always has. You want to do a create and for the 1099, 1096s. If you check the box on the 1099 setup tab to produce the electronic file, it will be produced for the set of 1099s that you create during this step. The newest update will allow creation of 1099s for 2023, and that should be coming up real soon. Right now, I'm just showing you the steps. This is the same thing that you've always done. When you click OK, it will build that file in the background, and then you would go ahead and print your copies for the vendors at this point. The last step of the process will be to view and copy the file to a place where it can be uploaded to the IRS system. So the electronic W-2 and 1099 list and copy, the list 1099 electronic file will show you what information it sees in the electronic file, and then it also will show you the any errors if there are. And I on purpose created an error so we could see what that looks like. So when you click OK on this, it will tell you the file has errors and they're listed at the end of this file. So I'm just going to click OK, and then I'll page through this, and you can just hit end if you're going to the end. But it says payer address is required. So we know we need to go back to the setup and take a look at that. So in the setup 1099s, on electronic 1099s, you can see I have my street address is in the name line 2 instead of in the shipping address. So I'm just gonna copy and paste it down there and leave this line, company line 2 address name or name blank. All right, I'm going to click OK on that. Go to W-2 and 1099, run the create step again so that it recreates the electronic file. I'm just going to click OK here and close out. And if I go back to the electronic list and copy for the 1099s, you can see there's no errors at this point, and the address is in the address field, and I think there's just one 1099 in this file. So I'm going to close there, and now you're ready to copy to another file for the upload. So when you go in here, the copy 1099 file to other drive/folder is the best option. And you probably want to get someone, if you don't know how to create folders, I would recommend a folder on a shared location. If you have several people doing uploads, they may want their own folders, but you want it to be quick and easy to find. And just click OK here. It will take you to a browser. When the browser comes up, I have on my C drive, because I don't have share files on this machine, built 2 folders, one for files to upload and one for files that have been sent. If these are on a shared location, you can be sure you're not going to miss anything or lose anything. The files sent folder especially is important to save. If they send you a notice that there's something wrong with your file, you want to be able to see exactly what you sent. Then you'll have to go through the process one more time to correct it, do a create, and you'll have to send a corrected file. And that information is coming up on how to send a corrected file. Just a quick note on how corrections happen for electronic 1099s. There's a separate record in the additional employee record. You would put the employee ID in, click on the tab that says electronic 1099 corrections, check the box for the correction, and I think it would always be a single transaction unless you think this employee has more than one 1099 in the file. The incorrect name on line 1 and 2, and a place to correct their social security number. I'm not sure what happens if you need changes in other parts of the file. I'm guessing we'll get more information about that now, since the 1099s, if the 1099s are sent electronically, they have to be corrected electronically, which is another good reason to try to get your vendor 1099s out early and give them time to respond before you send in the electronic file. If you have any specific questions or comments to make about the program, you can find our contact information in the help screen. We look forward to hearing from you.